In this lesson, we're going to learn about a really interesting tool called beat detection. So for this lesson, we're only going to be working with audio because beat detection is a feature for music. So we can find free to use music in the audio tab. You can also go ahead and import music of your own. Let's just go to the audio tab. And over here, we have a lot of music that we can download and use for our videos. They are all categorized, so you can use something that's suitable for your video. We have rock music, electronic, travel and vlog, even sound effects. Let's go ahead and download a few and then choose something that we want to use for our beat detection. So I'm going to download Around the Corner, which is in this category, Young and Bright. Bring it onto my timeline. Let's listen to the music. I'm going to skip over here because there's nothing playing. Let's play this back. So that was one of the music. Let's go ahead and get something from the rock category and see whether we're actually getting rock music. Let's skip through. As you can see, it is indeed rock music. And you can just go ahead and download any that you want. Over here, we have sound effects. So as the name suggests, we have TV glitch noise. Double click. Let's listen to that again. There we go. And you have the search bar in all of the categories. And then down here, music is the audio files that you have on your computer. So they're going to show up over here and you get to just bring in your own music. But for this lesson, I'm just going to go to Young and Bright and get this flow-free music. I've already downloaded it by hitting this button. Just go ahead and get this one and then bring it onto my timeline. So this right here is an ordinary music, and if I were to put some video over it, let's get some random videos. And because I don't know where the beats are, where I want my transitions to take place, I would either have to look, let's zoom in by hitting this. I would either have to look at the sound waves. Whenever these go up, that means the volume is brought up. So that's where the beat is. You can see the many beats that we have. If it's down and it suddenly goes up, that's a beat. So I would have to just trim these according to the beats, but that will just be really time consuming. Maybe I'll miss the beats by a few seconds. Another way that I could find the beats is to listen through, and then we're going to hit M on our keyboard. So I'm going to listen and then pause where the beat is, hit M, but this is also time consuming considering we have 3 minutes of music. So this is where the beat detection feature comes in. Beat detection detects the beats for you, the high points or the low points, depending on which one you choose. And that way, all I have to do is to just match my video with the beat. Let's see how that works. Let's go ahead and delete all of these, hit the trash icon, go back to my audio. And this time, instead of bringing it in my timeline, I'm going to right click on that music and then hit beat detection. Filmora has detected the beat and now it's ready for me to use it. You can see the other audios don't have this icon because we did not enable beat detection on them. So now I can go ahead and drag this as it is onto my timeline, and notice how we have these red markers. Let me just zoom out of my timeline. We have these red markers all over our audio. If we zoom in, we can see that these markers are at the start of those beats that we talked about. So where the audio goes low and then it suddenly comes up. So these are beats, and you can see Filmora found them pretty easily. Let's go at the start. And now I have the option to just drag my videos and just line them up with my markers. You can see my first video is up there. Maybe grab something that's a little longer. Let me go to stock media, to the things we've downloaded so far. Line it up with my marker and then hit the second marker with one click. I'm directed to that time span. Select my clip. Then we're going to get the scissor. Click again and split it. So this way I can edit my videos and sync them to my beats. Let's do the same thing here. Select on the other beats, select the video, then split the video, get rid of the other half. And you can just go on with these to make a really awesome video. Just going to do 3 of these. Split my clip again. There we go, delete that. Now I'm going to play this back and you can see that exactly on the beats we have the other video. There we go, third one. So this is a great way to match your video with the beat of your music. It doesn't really matter if you have like a rock music and electronic music, as long as there's a beat in that song, which 90% of the time there is, you are okay to use this feature. Now let's say I want to have every beat. Right now you can see that there's some beats like these ones that don't have a marker. And that means that Filmora skipped some beats and we're just getting like a few of those beats, but at a consistent rate. You can see that the space between these markers are equal. But what if I want more markers? I want to match my video with every beat in the song. So let's go back to the audio tab where we have our music. It's gonna go up, this was the music. Let's delete the videos. I'm gonna make another audio track so we can compare. I'm gonna go to the music that we had, right click, this time going to beat options. So first we went to beat detection, now we're going to beat options. And you cannot access beat options unless you detect the beats first. So if I go on one of these, right click, I only have the option to detect the beat. So the right order is to detect it and then go for beat options. Go right here and you're getting this window. Basically in this window, right now we're telling Filmora to highlight every 4 beats right here. So if we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Filmora is going to go for every 4 beats rather than every beat. I can make this 8, hit OK, and then drag this onto, drag it below so we can compare. You can see that the space is larger. You can compare the first audio beat detection that we did and the second one down here. I'm gonna make another one for our audio track. Let's do that again, but this time go for every beat. Right click, beat options, and instead of 8, we want to go for 1. So each one of these beats. Hit OK, drag that onto the timeline, and now I have every single beat possible. So I'm just getting all of these guys, and remember these are the highlights, so the highest beats. That's what we're getting right now. So you can see by changing my beat options, I was able to get 3 different results. You can get more by changing the number in the beat option panel. Let's go back. You can put any number in here and it's going to go for those numbers, as in skipping those beats. So every 1 beats, every 10 beats, every 5 beats, depends on you. And then you have offsets, which is basically it's going to skip. And right now it's set at 0, so it's going to start right at the beats. But if I set this to, let's say 3, and let's set this back to 4, which is what we had originally. Hit OK. I'm going to make another audio track. Move these 2 down. Bring this back on here. And you can see that I have skipped 3 beats and then started the every 4 count. So we have the exact same result as here, except at the beginning, I have skipped 3 beats. Right here, we have 1, 2, 3, skipped, and then we have the 4 count that we had up here. Gonna go back in here. So you can skip something if you want. For example, let's say we have a music that starts off really slow. There's no like pump in the music, and then at some point, the beat drops and it becomes really interesting. So you would use the highlight offset to ask Filmora not to put any markers on that slow segment where there's nothing happening. We also have this turned on, which is mark highlight beats only. Like we said, these are all highlights, which is the high points, but what if I want the low points? I want the exact opposite of what we have here. Let me just delete all of these so we can start with the low points now. Maybe leave one for reference. Delete the rest. Right click on this, beat options, turn this off, and I'm going to set the offset to 0 so it's exactly like this one. But this time we're going for the opposite, so we're going for the low points. Hit OK. Drag this onto the timeline, and this time we have blue. So we still have the high points. You can see the red markers are there, but now we have these blue markers. And basically these blue markers are still highlighting the beats, but they're going for the beats that are not the highest because the highest ones were the red ones. So these blue beats could be quite low or medium sized, but the highest ones are still the red ones. I would recommend just experimenting and seeing which one suits your video best. Sometimes you'll end up using the red markers, sometimes the blue, and other times you may use both. This is something you're looking for so that you can experiment and see which one works better. All right, now that I have this, let's go ahead and sync some music to them. I'm going to delete this one. We're going to use the blue one now. I'm going to bring it to my audio track 1. And by the way, if the program mistakes the beat, you can always just click that marker and drag it a bit to either side so you can play around with these. If Filmora misses the beat, for example, let's zoom in. If the red marker was here originally and you know the highlight is here, you can just click and drag this and place it right there. So these are not permanent. You can just play around and make the best out of your beat detection. Now I can go ahead and sync some videos to my audio. Go to stock media or any other place that you want. Drag some videos, and here we are. And if for any reason these markers disappear, let me just alright, so they're not disappearing right now, but sometimes it may glitch and you may end up losing these markers. Don't panic. These markers are integrated onto your music, so even if I end up accidentally deleting this, I can always go back to my audio and bring the music to my timeline again. And that way I'll get the markers back. If you accidentally deleted your audio, don't panic. This is still on your music. So now I'm going to create a sequence by splitting some videos and putting them on my timeline, just like we did at the beginning of this lesson. But this time I'm going to match with the blue markers instead of the red ones. Let's take a look. There we go. So depending on your video and your music, you can use any of the markers that you want. Again, you can move them around if the place that Filmora chose is not decent. Let's try this with another type of music. This was a bit pop, so let's delete this one and go for something that's a little slow. Let's go to tender and sentimental. First, we're going to right click, beat detection. It's going to do a little magic and then bring it onto my timeline. So this right here, you can see it's a lot more difficult to capture the beats because we have everything playing at one rate. All right, so I have 3 videos right now. So if I play this back, you can see that it's just not clicking the way it did with that upbeat music that we had earlier. Your choice in music is also important. Not that this won't work, but it works better with a music that has a lot of beats and, well, pop to it. I'm going to get the blue markers this time. So we have the red and the blue, just like we did with the first audio. I'm going to put some videos over it and then let's see how it turns out. Play this back. There we go. So you can just play around with the markers, get the best result, but this beat detection feature really saves you time. Like we said, if you didn't have this feature, you would have to listen to the music and just hit M on parts where you need a marker on, which is difficult because you may miss those beats. So that's why the beat detection feature is a great way to create music videos, compilations, or montages of your clips. And now you know how to use the beat detection feature.